All
I
right,
love,
we're
yeah.
back with International Podcast Day, and we're excited to have the rock star host of the spiritual entrepreneur, Devi Adea, here joining us this evening. What's going on, Devi?
Well, your ears must have been burning because I just got back from stand-up paddleboarding with Amy Schubert and Alana, and Amy was on here earlier, and we were
Yeah.
both saying how awesome you are and how much we enjoyed you. I was more down than up, but we had fun. I was in the water a lot today, but great to be
That's
here.
okay. Nothing wrong with being in the water. That's the whole idea, right? Having some fun, enjoying yourself on a Sunday, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And celebrating her 4 years, right? It's
Oh,
her
yeah,
four
I know,
years
to the
now.
day. That was what's
To the
great.
day.
4 years
Yeah.
to the day. It's great. That's awesome. So, for those that don't know Devi, this is a lady you definitely want to know. I'm enjoying, definitely loving, enjoying your show out there. I've been binging it like a lot of others. But
Thanks.
Devi is the host of the Successful Spiritual Entrepreneur Podcast and the creator of the Podcast on Purpose Online Academy and Up Level Club. Devi is a seasoned speaker, podcaster, spiritual business coach, and strategic. She works with spiritual entrepreneurs, thought leaders, innovators, and creatives to experience soulful living and deep fulfillment by aligning their personal mission and message with a successful business and freedom-based lifestyle. She's an up-level specialist and helps her clients move to their next level by working with their consciousness that yields a result and contribution that they desire. Debbie is a unique mix of spiritual entrepreneur, creative, techie nerd, I love that, and coaching genius. She brings all her talents together to inspire, instruct, and guide others to their best version of life and self. Debbie's a no-nonsense leader who believes that anything is possible with the right intention, focus, strategy, support, energy, and inspired action. So awesome stuff. Welcome to Podcast Day 2018, Debbie.
Thanks so much for having me, and happy International Podcast Day, guys.
I
Everyone
know,
who's
right?
listening in, hi. I know, right?
Good stuff. Good stuff. Man, we've had a great group of everybody here. It makes it easy to put something like this together when I got people like you and everybody else has been a great part of this, been on time. So it's good stuff there. So
Well, you are a rock star. I can't believe you're still rocking and rolling. You are amazing. And I
well,
was just
I
listening to
have
Party
Red
Session.
Bulls
Oh, okay.
me to help me keep them rocking and rolling. So I'm going to be hungry in about 2 hours here, but
Okay.
I'm feeding myself with content from everybody. How's that sound?
It sounds great. That's what we do, right? As podcasters.
Exactly. Sometimes, exactly. So we got to see Phoebe. Oh, great. Can't wait to hear from Debbie Adea. Phoebe says shares online, which is good stuff. Yeah, don't go anywhere, everybody. We're going strong for another till 8 o'clock tonight, so we still got a while left. But Debbie, why don't you share with everybody a little bit about Spiritual Entrepreneur and some of the great things you're doing on there?
Yeah, so I created Spiritual Entrepreneur mostly because I wanted to talk about that 99%, what I believe, 99% success principles that are really consciousness based. I believe that a lot of what we create in our life, if not the majority of it, is based upon the consciousness that we bring to it. And so, I started in high tech. I have a dual degree from Carnegie Mellon, and I, worked for Oracle for a long time. So I get the business strategy and all of that. And I really believe that the consciousness is a huge piece of it. And I was finding a lot of people teaching about business and tactics and success strategies and steps, and they were leaving that piece out. And so I really wanted to create a platform where we could talk about that energy behind things that really truly creates worlds. So that's what the Spiritual Entrepreneur, how that kind of got birthed. And also I wanted to kind of let people know I was spiritual. I had hidden that side of myself a lot of my life, just to kind of fit in the external world. And so for me, it was part of me coming out and telling my truth, which I think a lot of us do. As podcasters, we're starting to share that voice, that unique voice of our soul. And that's what I really care about. I am really passionate about helping people to express and experience the voice of their soul. And I help them do that on a global podcast platform as well as through their own business and, just sharing in their lives on a day-to-day basis, because it's been part of my journey and my struggle. I think we teach a lot what we've had to work through, right?
Amen to that.
Yeah.
That is definitely an amen to that. And we got Melinda's there. Debbie Adea is amazing out there. Lots of love from you. Fan clubs out there, which is awesome. So let's talk about that. Let's start off like I've asked several people. Was there an episode or something you've talked with that had really been the biggest nugget or biggest kind of lightning bolt from doing your show so far? It really has led the most impact on you?
I have to say I learn stuff every week, and that's one of the reasons why I love my show, because it's really a place where I get to grow on around a topic that I care most about. So if you're considering starting a podcast, just so you know, that's one of the major side benefits. Would you agree, Scott, of having your own show?
We all become podcast addicts. Like, I got to have my next hit pretty well.
Yeah.
Right?
Tap it in.
That's right.
So,
Please with the vein. Hit me the other one too. Come on, next. Right.
but I have to say, I've seen some of the best of humanity on my show, and I've had people that I had a guy whose mother was actually murdered by his stepfather, who went through forgiveness and transformed his life. I've had people that teach meditation to stadiums full of people. I've had a prince on there who does humanitarian photojournalism and travels around and gives a voice to the world. I've just so many extraordinary people have been on my show. I'd say one of the little nuggets that I got that I thought was great was just a little mindset shift. It was by Dana Wilde, and she was using basically a simple hypnotic thing that you would say to yourself. She's from the Mind Aware show. She has her own show as well, where she said she started using this simple phrase. It used to be that this was the case. So let's say that you're wanting to change a belief that you have. So let's say that you're like, I can't stand up on a paddleboard. It's a pretty solid belief that I gathered a lot of evidence for today. Up, down, sup, down. Anyway, and so let's say that that's your belief. She said, it used to be that I couldn't stand up on a paddleboard, but I'm starting to notice that it's getting easier to stand up on a paddleboard. I'm starting to notice that I have a lot of balance. And just this little phrase was a great addition to it. And then I had another lady come on that talked about as if. So really, creating things as if you've already done it. Creating, like, I'm going to stand on the paddleboard as if I am like the most balanced person on the planet, right? So there are these little nuggets that we take away interviewing people that maybe just one little thing that they say in the episode, but that can get integrated into your practice. It's like a nugget that will shift your life. They're little game changers that over time will just have an exponential effect in the positive direction in what we do. So
it's kind of like adjusting a dial a little bit. If you're 1 degree now, doesn't make a lot of sense, but you look back 30 days from now, that one little bit adjustment, it's a big difference, right?
Yes.
Different course to where you're going.
Absolutely. Yes. And yes.
What's your biggest insight that you would give somebody starting a podcast? Because we've got so many people on here, and I see people asking questions, and I'm like, oh, great, they're thinking about it. What's your biggest give to say, hey, if somebody's starting a podcast, they need to do this or that?
So here's what I would say. So I, for years, had this part of me that was pressing on my heart and my soul that wanted to express that I was scared to share, which was the spiritual side of me, right? I was talking about the business stuff. And I think each one of us has something that's unique, that's a gift that we've come in with. It's like that voice of our soul, if you will, that maybe is that thing that we're really afraid that if anyone knew about us, they might think we're a freak, or we're afraid that they wouldn't like us if they knew that. But it's really something that makes us unique and special. So if you have something like that is pushing on your heart and your soul, and you want to create a platform for it, podcasts are amazing. What I would say is start and consistently publish. Whatever you're going to do. And I was listening to you saying about video, and I completely agree. I think video is an important new piece. I started off doing audio, and it was great because I got to hide, and I didn't want anyone to see me while I was saying, yeah. I can kind of
image, right?
Yeah. I'm going to push publish, and then it's out there, and whatever, it's done. But nowadays I feel like, video is so great. So, but however you start, even if you just start with your audio version of your podcast, just, get started and consistently publish, and you'll be amazed in no time how many episodes you have, how many people love your show, and how much it transforms you in the process of being in that conversation every week or day or month, however often you publish. I would say at a minimum a week, go out and do it. So, but yeah, I think you were saying that as well. Just get started, do it. There's no better time than now. I believe Steve Olsher was saying at the New Media Summit, we're on this hockey puck curve where things are starting to move in that direction. And now is the time, if you're going to do a podcast, hop in, share your message. So
how is your show different now than when you began?
Oh my gosh. It's so different. When I started, I was so scared. I truly came out spiritually on iTunes. So I grew up in a mystical family, but also a very, cosmopolitan family, let's say in Washington, D.C. And so for me to actually talk about some of that journey for myself was a big deal. And so I was kind of still cloaking. And now I'm just okay, this is how I feel. This is what I think. and I ask more clear questions. I would say too, I'm more tuned in to when someone really knows what they're talking about and when they don't. When I'd start, I was kind of like, okay, well, let's see if we can find the nuggets, right? They've got to be in there. Now I'm like, okay, maybe they're not going to go that deep here. Let's take this different direction. So I think you just kind of hone your skill set as an interviewer. For me, it's always downloading. I never know what I'm going to ask before I get on. It's just, I trust in the process, and I ask to be guided to whatever's the perfect conversation for our audience. So.
That's a good point. The more you do it, the better you get at it. The more you can hear when somebody's. I think Ruby said earlier about you can hear the bullshit meter going off in your head.
Yes. BS.
Come on.
Yeah,
and have there been any feedback from your tribe, your audience out there, that's been really surprising for you? Anybody reached back out and shared stories?
I've had some really funny things happen. So one thing is, like, I've had, you were talking earlier, I don't remember who was speaking, but about what they like to eat. And I talked with Jeffrey Shaw, was on my show, and we were talking about how we love chocolate. So someone actually sent me a care package with chocolate, which was fantastic. If you want to send me chocolate anytime, I'll totally receive it. Dark chocolate.
I might need to get that might be a good idea. Find out what every icon likes.
Like,
who sends what, right?
But those fun things where you get these little care packages where people tell you, I had a woman contact me that was saying that she relies on my show every week to get her through. She's going through a divorce, and when she takes her dog out for a walk, she listens to me and my show and the guests that I have. But the funnest one was my good friend Tiamo was in Arizona, and I was hanging out with his wife at her house that evening. And he was evidently in an Uber going to see a guy at an event that's a friend of his. And in the Uber, evidently he handed him the iPad, or somehow he was looking at it, and he's like, "Oh, you like podcasts? What's your favorite one?" And he's like, "Oh, The Spiritual Entrepreneur." And he's like, "What?" And he's like, and he's been on it, and I'm his, and he was like, "I moved over here from another country, and it's my lifeblood. It's what helps me get through with what I'm doing." So those little things make it so rewarding when you get that feedback. And he's like, "You know her?" And he's like, "Yeah."
I'm on the show number there. Honestly, I think video podcasting is making the world truly a smaller place, though.
Yes.
Especially as sharing, like Eric Nevins was talking earlier about halfway there about sharing stories of everybody's faith and things like that. I think that's at least us. The more willing that we are as hosts to share and be vulnerable, and getting our guests to do the same thing, I think the more value there, because it helps people overcome things and identify mind blocks that they're having, and identifying with the things that we go through as entrepreneurs, right, Devi?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I completely agree with that. And I think that's that growth edge for us. That's that place where we have to learn to just really speak our truth and be that voice in the world. And the beautiful thing about the video and the podcast, well, this is live, but it's just kind of a place to test that ground if you're wanting to tiptoe into that, and truly to source the voices that need to be heard in our world right now. So, yeah. For sure.
Now, you working with so many entrepreneurs out there, I'm a big believer that we're, as entrepreneurs, before we can get to that next step, we've got to get our mind right to be able to grow into that. What are some of the things that you do to work with entrepreneurs to help them kind of get over those mind blocks, or get their noggin in the right spot?
Yeah. So I'm a firm believer that any challenge you have in your life right now is caused by a particular consciousness that you're carrying. It could be a conversation that you're having with yourself on an ongoing basis. It could be a repeated habit that you've created out of a conversation that you have, or like an old program. I liken it to a computer. I come from high tech, right? So if you think about it, if you have a computer system, right, and you've got a bunch of old programs running on it, it's not going to operate very effectively. If your connection to the net, or what I would call it, to the divine or to God, whatever you want to say, is not firm and strong, you're going to be missing out on a lot of the intuitive insights and little magical things that'll really move your life forward much faster. And, it doesn't give you the space to start to create some new things. So a lot of times I find that there's typically an area of like unforgiveness that someone may be carrying from their past that needs to get cleaned up. That's those old programs, right? Or stories that we've made about ourselves from a past experience that we've had that need to clear. And I do work with people on that on an energetic level a lot. So it's not something I would intellectually talk about, but it's something that I work with them moving those things through. And then there's little nuggets that I picked up from my people on the show that I use sometimes. I used to work with in coaching with one of the leaders in the industry too. So I use some of that technology as well that I've adapted. And then with the connecting, one of the things I found is every successful spiritual entrepreneur, bar none, has a presence practice of some kind. And it could just be that it is running in nature and connecting into the moment with your breath, or it could be that it's listening to classical music and journaling, or it could be meditation, or it could be prayer. Whatever it is for you, having that time where you're connecting in to that cloud, if you will, the divine cloud, where all of the juiciest wisdom in our life exists, and pulling in from that. I had someone actually who did what we called towel time. He would go in the bathroom, turn on the shower, and put a towel over his head and have trade rags and a calculator. And he would, basically look at the things in the magazine and then just put the towel on, tune everything out, and get these amazing insights and then work the numbers. So whatever the practice is for you, having that time and making that in your schedule is a huge help. A great place to start.
That's amazing. It's a true thing, because I think we all get so bogged down, and as entrepreneurs, a lot of times we'll put ourselves last.
It's true.
And we run, like Matt just shared a great story on Facebook about burning the candle at both ends and passing out last night at an event without taking that internal, taking time for. Yeah, I know. I was like, I saw this email and this post on Facebook at the break. I'm like, oh my God, Matt, we should have talked about that on there. But but you have to do that. You have to take a little time for yourself to kind of center, get everything back in store, to kind of deep breath,
Yes.
and go forward with it, right?
Yes. And remembering why we're here. I mean, we're here to really experience our richness of our experience, and not, I think as an entrepreneur, we can get in this like fast-paced run, doing the next thing. And we don't take that time to really check in and fully bring ourselves into the present moment to experience the gift, which really is the journey, and who we become through the journey, and experiencing and expressing those parts of ourselves that create true fulfillment in life, in service to humanity, I believe. I believe it's both expression, but also in service.
Right.
So
now, where do you see you taking the show in the next 12 months? Where do you want to go, the spiritual entrepreneur? I know a little bit of the answer, but I want you to share. Where do you want to go in the next 12 months?
Yeah. So for me, I want to continue to grow my reach with the spiritual entrepreneur, obviously. I'm taking myself on video. I've been the one who's like probably the slowest to adapt, because I'm like, then I have to do my hair. Right?
It's called a good hat. Okay?
It's called a good
I'm just being,
Yeah. It's a lot of work. As a woman, you have to put makeup on, and, anyway. So there's been a whole conversation I've had about that in here, which has been obviously slowing down my progress in that. But I'm going to be taking it more online. I'm on Binge now, which I know you're on Binge as well, Binge TV. So I want to have it look better, more video than just kind of the self-generated audio. So for people who are listening, and they actually create like an image with a audio wave that goes across with the audio from your show. And repurpose.io does that. And so that goes on Binge. So I want to actually have more video, and I'm starting a new show that's going to be all about podcasting that's coming out soon. So that's kind of another piece that's coming in alongside of it, and my business is around the podcast too, both of them. So
don't you have classes that you teach too? You're looking to drive.
I do.
Audience does that? Yeah,
I have Podcast on Purpose Online Academy. So my show is actually called Podcasters on Purpose, which kind of ties into my little brand. And then, the spiritual entrepreneur obviously ties into a lot of the work that I do. And I'm really about to obviously shifting consciousness and conscious leadership and conscious-based business. So I see all of that flowing in for me as well. So yeah, it's fantastic. And I want to have even more amazing people like you on the show. I'm all ready to get on yours. I'm excited that we got that scheduled. So, So it's going to be good. Well,
Phoebe is saying she will be your video accountability buddy as well. So.
Yay! Go Phoebe! Here we go.
There you go. Exactly.
I just did 10 this last 10 days. So there you go.
There you go. What's the best way for people to get a hold of you, Debbie?
Yeah. So you can go to my main website, which is my name, DeviAdea.com, or you can go see the show at spiritualentrepreneur.com, or go to iTunes at sepodcast.com. So spiritualentrepreneur.com or sepodcast.com.
Awesome. Good stuff there. Hang on one second. I'm checking something here real fast.
Sure. And I just
Yeah.
wanted to honor you, Scott, and thank you so much. I think you are extraordinary. I really enjoyed meeting you in the Icon New Media Summit Mastermind, is where I think we had to talk more, but
Yep.
you're just amazing. And I really appreciate you putting this on for everyone and sharing the gift of podcasting with all of these people. It's really
Hey, you know what? I
extraordinary.
appreciate it. Like I've said before, it's so easy when we got great people on, like you and Phoebe and everybody else has been a guest, Mark and Eric and everybody out there. It's so easy because all of us have a passion for
Yes.
helping everybody. You know what I mean? For helping people take that next step and really kind of mastermind together. So thank you so much. But it's been very easy. I've got a tremendous staff and people that
Awesome.
support me that we're glad to help out and make this day go off without a hitch for the most part. So
Well, thank you to your staff too, if you're listening in. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you.
yeah, no, trust me, they'll appreciate it with the wine or whatever we're going to feed them there later. Good stuff there. So, all right, everybody. Let's see. I'm trying to see if Mary is on here. Our next guest. Hang on here. If she's not, I'm going to give you some more time. Where is she? She's not on here.
Awesome. Okay.
So we got more time. Let's get stuff. So
I'm happy to talk more. Let's do it.
let's talk about it. Let's talk a little bit about, because I know a big goal of yours from us talking to Match by Day is
Oh.
talking about putting more people into your kind of classes. So let's take a minute or two, talk about your classes a little bit more than you're helping out.
Yeah, so I have a couple classes around podcasting specifically. I have the online academy that's called Podcast on Purpose, where I take you from idea to iTunes and syndicate your show on all the major podcast directories in under 6 weeks. It is podcast on purpose for a reason, because I really like to support people. Obviously, I talk about expressing and experiencing the voice of your soul, but there's nothing more in alignment with that than really focusing on what it is you feel you're here to do with your gifts. And then I also have a VIP weekend that I do where I take you from idea to iTunes, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, half day Friday, and then the 2 days on Saturday and Sunday, and we get you all set up with your show, which is fantastic. I love that. I have a monthly subscription that I do where I invite people to come in and we work on up-leveling in all the areas of your life and your business. I do group coaching, one-on-one coaching. I have just started to put together my mastermind, which is kind of the next evolution, I guess, for me too, is bringing community together as well, moving towards all of our goals together in the area of conscious leadership and spiritual entrepreneurship. So.
That's good stuff there.
Yeah, thanks for asking.
It's got to be really rewarding though when you're doing your podcasting class there. It really helping people kind of overcome hurdles, you know.
Can I tell you, Scott? So I knew I was called to do it because I was having people ask me about it. I had all these people come to me and be like, "Well, how did you start your show? What did you do?" And I was like, "Man, I can't teach everybody. There's so many people asking me. Maybe I'll just make a course." And that's kind of how I got into doing that. But I wasn't really that clear on why I was doing it. I was like, "Well, I know technology really well, and I have my podcast, and people are asking me for it, so I'll do it." But it was one evening we were listening to the shows that had been launched in the VIP weekend, and I was listening to the bumpers of people, and I was hearing things like "All's Right Now" for Alzheimer's, and the Purpose Lounge, where people were doing their purpose stuff. There's like spiritual, fitness training, cross training. There's all these different things, and I was like, "Oh, I'm launching leaders. I got it." I was like, I'm giving them all their platform so that they can share their gifts in the world. And I just started bawling. I was like, it was like 1 a.m. and I'm all, what? I was just so happy and so moved that I had chosen to do that, even though I wasn't 100% clear on why I was doing it. So I followed the intuition, right?
But that's awesome though. I mean, that's the thing, is helping people get their word out or help them launch their platform so they can be a conduit to everybody else out there, right?
Yes. Because each one of us is so unique and special. We all have these amazing gifts, and we just need a platform to start sharing them. We need the courage and the right mindset, like you talked about, the right consciousness around getting it out. So, and the support. Like, it's so great. I'm so grateful to have this icon posse, I call you guys.
Hashtag icon posse, okay?
Hashtag icon posse.
You have the hashtag icon posse, and we'll have a song about the icon posse before too long.
I'll help write it. It's just awesome. I feel, because sometimes when you're doing the podcasting journey, it can feel lonely. Like you can feel like you're by yourself, and do you feel that way sometimes when you're before maybe earlier
Oh,
on?
yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when you get bogged in an office or you're stuck in, you don't get out and network a lot of things, don't go out to events a lot. I mean, there's been time especially we stopped doing like hotel workshops. We went to doing virtual workshops because I didn't want to travel. It was a lot easier. And so you get to the point where you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm here. I'm in myself. I've got video camera. Yeah, I'm connecting with people. But when you get out, you get a chance to network in person, or you get to meet people. Before. So either breaking bread at lunch, or hanging around, or on the digital dance floor, doing the Thriller dance or whatever like that with everybody.
We're doing so good. I love it.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the thing is it gives a chance to kind of see people a little bit differently than just behind the camera. And it releases the endorphins when you get a chance to meet people and hang out. Then you see them, you network with them, or you're on the phone or changing emails, and you laugh because it's something you found funny or hilarious or whatever. Or you exchange a nugget throughout the weekend or stuff like that. That's so valuable out there, getting to network and stuff like that. See, Phoebe and Eric both like Icon Posse, love it, fantastic. Yes, there you go, there you go.
It started.
Came up with it first, so make sure you give her credit for it, everybody. The Icon Posse, it's fun.
Happy to share. And, with podcasting and being such like a unique journey too, I think having other people that get the journey, and this is such a great media place for that to get shared. Like this conversation we're all having together right now, it's like you get to see behind the scenes and what the podcasting is like, but to have people that get you and get what you experience as a podcaster in that way is, it's really special. It's something that, there's other business contacts, but there's something unique about having your other podcasters in your community that I think is really special. And I love our Icon Posse, and I loved supping today. And I had lunch yesterday with Melanie. Like, it's just good people,
Exactly. It is totally great having people to get that. And so Mary's been standing by waiting for me to text her to log in. I haven't even looked at my phone.
Oh. Okay, well, text Mary. Mary, we're excited you're coming in.
Now.
You guys are going to love Mary. Mary is awesome. She's
Mary
amazing.
Is great. Mary is great. We're going to be on each other's podcast, but it's funny. So I have to give her. That's funny. Log in now, Mary. You get your full 20 minutes there. It's funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then people like, you guys don't know you know I'm hosting. I'm not looking at my phone every 5 seconds.
Yes, exactly.
Good times. Let's see here. Okay, hang on.
She in? Oh, something's going on, guys.
Sorry. Yes. People asking again. How do we contact Devi again? So once again, give your contact information.
Okay. So it's Devi, D-E-V like victory, I. It's not Debbie, it's Devi, Adea, ADEA.com. Or you can go to spiritualentrepreneur.com and listen to the show. Or you can go to sepodcast.com and in a browser, and I'll open it in iTunes, and you can view it in iTunes as well if you like iTunes. But I'm on all the major platforms and stuff as well. And you're always welcome to reach out to my team as well at support@deviadea.com. If you need anything, I'm sure we can serve you in a beautiful way. Is Mary, you laughing? Is something funny going on with the text?
Okay.
You guys are going to love Mary. She's awesome. She's fantastic.
There she is.
Okay, I'll let you guys go. Thanks so much for having me, Scott, and happy International Podcasting Day, guys.
Awesome.
And I'll see you soon. Bye.
Hey, what's going on there, Mary?
How do I get out?
Mary, can you hear me? Hang on here. Did I mute you? No, you're good.
Hey, can you hear me?
There we go. Hang on a second. Hey, I'm sorry. I was waiting for you to log in so I could switch Debbie off so we had bedtime in between.
Hang on a second. I got to get out of this other thing.
What's his name?